St Mary le Strand nearly closed a few years ago. The building is in a serious need of repair. Bits have been falling off. The interior is flaking and not quite falling apart, but it's in need of urgent attention. And so the Jewel in the Strand project is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to save this most significant building. So I'm Peter Babington. I'm priest in charge of St Mary le Strand Church, and St Mary le Strand is the finest 18th century church in London. St Mary le Strand is an 18th century church. It was the first public building by James Gibbs, who was a renowned Scottish architect. For quite a long time, St Mary le Strand was kind of cut off by this sort of sea of traffic. It was an island in a sea of vehicles, and one of the jokes about the church is that bus drivers and taxi drivers called it St Mary's in the way. Just about sort of 7 or 8 years ago, there was a threat to the church for being closed because it had become so cut off really by the heavy traffic. It was very hard for people to come in. It was hard for the community of the church to reach out to its neighbourhood, and it had just kind of sort of shrunk in on itself a bit, and it was threatened with closure. 5 years ago, plans to pedestrianise the Strand were developed, and this Strand Aldwych district has now become this pedestrianised zone, but surrounded by extraordinary cultural and academic organisations. So it's a sort of intellectual, creative, cultural hub for Westminster. And it's been absolutely transformative. I would say it sort of liberates St Mary le Strand to be now the sort of centrepiece of this wonderful new piazza.
My name is Nick Cox. I'm an architect, and we specialise in working on historic buildings. This project, the Jewel in the Strand project, is a really extraordinary project, and it's one that I and everyone in my practice are definitely very excited about. So it's an extraordinary moment in the life of this church that it now has this pedestrianised area around it. There's been this vision from Westminster City Council to make this a great sort of cultural hub, but also we're very fascinated in how you make new interventions into historic places, and making them accessible is also something that gives us great delight and great joy. So it brings together many, many things which for me are really special. Beautiful architecture, accessibility, looking after the historic fabric, as well as new interventions that are going to help to breathe new life into it. The other thing that we're doing is of course addressing the built fabric itself. So inside, and you can see behind me, it hasn't been decorated for many, many years. But also outside there are fabric repairs too, because we have a lot of problems with the stonework.
So it's quite a nice example of the problem we've got with the stoneworks. This is where a big lump of the stone has fractured and come out, and you can see the iron cramp behind the stone. And this is that problem of rust jacking, where if damp gets in, the iron rusts and then it expands and then it fractures the stone. And this is one of the amazing capitals carved 300 years ago, and the stonemason just lifted that off with their hands, no tools needed. So that was pretty precarious. Fortunately that didn't fall off, it was lifted off. And again, this is one of the bottles from the balustrade, so at high level, which has been removed before it fell.
So my name is Rieko Makita, and I am a pianist and composer. I want to create this time for reflection for people. Everyone seeks connection, and I think music provides that in some way of bringing people together and also feeling like you're, somehow connected in this really big, overwhelming world.
My name is Mitchell Lehman, and I'm in here today because I was passing, and I have a lot of affection for this church because I was married here.
My name is Josephine Buchan, and I'm connected to this church because I am currently helping them connect with the community more in this area. I think it makes for a really interesting, eclectic mix of people who can do wonderful things together in this space. There are so many beautiful buildings in the world and so many lovely churches in London. Why this one? Does it touch your soul? Do you come in and think, actually, Here she sits, bless her, right in the middle of this road. She's sat here all this time. She's been through world wars. She's battered and bruised. But the good that this church can do post-renovation in this area, which so needs a feeling of community. All these people going to work with their issues and they're stressed and all the rest of it. Well, here's this little oasis right here for you. You've got to preserve it. It's a no-brainer.
So this whole project to transform St Mary le Strand for generations to come and to engage with new and diverse audiences, the whole thing is about £12.6 million. We've got this amazing support from the National Lottery Heritage Fund, but we have to get match funding. So this project won't happen without that generous support from a whole wide range of people.
At the end of the day, it's like any important building in the world. It is for citizens of the world, and it has to be kept and preserved for them and for future generations.
The Jewel in the Strand project is a hugely ambitious undertaking, and we need your help to make it happen. If you would like to join us on the journey, then click the button below and sign up for our newsletter, and you will receive regular updates about the project and behind the scenes stories of all that we're doing at St Mary le Strand.